Now, moving on, my guest today has been a part of the industry since he was 13 years old. He is a three-time college All-American and a businessman with a purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, from Atlanta, Georgia, please welcome to the show, Alex Campbell. Alex, welcome to Barber Sports Talk.
Thanks, Al. Thanks for having me today, man.
No problem, no problem. Thank you. I'm glad that you're here, sir. Now, your mom, we want to get right into this. Your mom was an author, a salon owner, and a master cosmetologist out of Florida. I usually ask my guests how they got into the business. Was there any pressure on you getting into the business?
Actually, no. I grew up watching my mom, and, she's awesome. Been in the business over 20 years and very passionate about doing hair, but believe it or not, never talked to me about the business. So I just watched her, and what ended up happening is she ended up cutting my hair, as a matter of fact. And, this was my motivation. She cut my hair, and it wasn't that great. Went to school. Man, they laughed me out of school, and they picked on me, talking about how terrible my haircut was. And that pretty much is what started me to learning how to cut my own hair and motivated me to learn how to cut others.
Now, all this happened while you were still in Florida, correct?
Yeah, that's when I was 13 years old.
You're originally from Florida. Now, I want to move ahead in your career a little bit and move to your collegiate days. You attended Morris Brown College in Atlanta, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you are one of the only person that I have ever talked to that has been an All-American 3 times as a place kicker and punter. Most of the kids are running backs, quarterbacks. How did you gravitate to being a place kicker?
Kicking, that was something I was always pretty good at. Used to kick a lot in street ball. We have pickup games in Florida, in the streets, just playing some tag. I could always kick pretty good and didn't know anything about it, but I just always could do it pretty well. And as a freshman, when I was in high school, the coaches, they asked about it. They said, well, who wants to try out to be a place kicker and a punter? So I thought about it. I said, well, I'll go for it. But at this time, understand, I still did not know how to kick. So I was practicing one day, and almost, it's like by mistake, I kicked the football, and it went about 55 yards on a field goal. And the coach came out, and he asked me, he said, how did you just kick that ball? I said, I don't know. He said, you may be a soccer-style kicker. And and his name is Coach Dilly Webb. And when he showed me the soccer-style technique, that was when my career started. And I've been kicking soccer-style and booming 55, 60-yard field goals ever since.
Wow. Now, in 1994, you set a record for having a 96-yard punt.
Correct.
Wow. I don't understand how could you take that punting and that technique that you learned there and be a collegiate All-American 3 times. What was your motivation to continue to go, seeing that you didn't have any role models necessarily to follow in that position?
That's a good question. It was something in me, to be honest with you, that pretty much told me that I was pretty good. I wasn't researching punting and kicking when I got to college, but there was a burning desire in me, and I just knew something was there for me. I knew I was pretty good, but I didn't know how good I was until I started to see other collegiate competition. And when I went to Morris Brown, I was actually on the field practicing, and I was practicing so well. Now that I look back on it, the coaches, they stopped the practice, and they came over and they said, who do you play for? They thought I played for a pro team because I was just nailing punts, 80, 85 yards back to back to back to back. And, the coach, he said, you know what, come to my office. I want to give you a scholarship. Because at the time, I wasn't playing for anybody. And I went in there. I was a red shirt freshman. And I started watching punters and kickers a little bit more closely, started to study techniques and what have you. And I started going to camps and started getting more and more knowledge. And from there, man, my career just started to blossom. You know, I was a freshman All-American, junior and senior All-American. And, you know, I really became a student of punting and place kicking, the art of punting and place kicking. And, you know, I'm just a competitive person, man. Once I saw I could go to the top, man, I was just driven to be number one, and that's what I did.
Now, what were your goals as far as when you left school? The NFL was your major goal that you wanted to get to?
Yeah, and most of the time, that's most athletes. That's the ultimate goal. I worked out for quite a few teams, but Philadelphia Eagles, they liked me. Some pretty good relationship building there, and you know, that's where my path was going. Honestly, I didn't think about anything outside of that at that time. I was so excited to just get in, you know, sign a contract, get into camp. You know, I'm here, you know, living my dream. And besides that, to answer your question, I honestly didn't think of doing anything else besides getting into the NFL.
Wow. Okay. Well, walk us through your experience. I guess it was after your second preseason game where the Eagles released you. What was your mind frame? What did you think you were going to do at that point?
Well, it was depressing, man. I'll never forget it. You know, they call the guy who comes around to knock on the door, they call him the Grim Reaper. And this is a kid, he's usually about 18, 19. He walks around and he'll knock on your door about 5:36 in the morning. He'll ask you to bring your playbook to the coach's office. So I knew what that meant. And so when I went there and they spoke with me and said, you know, you had a great camp. You know, we still want to work with you. We're going to try to send you to the World League, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's pretty typical what they tell you. But after that, you know, when I got home, you know, I flew in back to Atlanta, and I got home, man, and I sat there in that apartment for about 2 hours. And I just stared at the wall because I was just, man, I was tore apart. I mean, I was like, man, what am I going to do now? You know, so it was real hard to bear with at that time. But, you know, being the kind of guy that I am, I kept going, kept pushing, had several more workouts, but it just didn't seem to go anywhere else after that.
How did you keep yourself in the correct mind frame? What kind of motivational techniques did you use, or was it someone that you've spoken with that helped you through that time to get you where you are right now?
To be honest with you, if I could say anyone that was very positive and very helpful, it was my personal coach, my kicking coach, Miss Carol White. And she spoke with me all the time and pretty much told me, and Carol White, she runs the largest kicking camps in the country. I was her top counselor for her camp, so we built a strong bond, a real good relationship. And throughout training me, she watched me, she helped me grow. And so once I was released, she talked to me and she told me, she said, Alex, you are what we like our students to turn out to be, because you understand that it was not a lack of talent, but you understand it's business. And because you understand it's strictly business, it doesn't crush your ego. You just have to take your losses and keep moving. So she was very motivational in my life, Miss Carol White.
Well, that's a good thing. We all need someone like Miss Carol White in our lives to help us out through the tough times, and obviously she helped you out. Now, how did you get back with the Clippers? How did you pick the Clippers back up in Atlanta after all that happened?
Man, that's crazy, because I was out, let me see, maybe a year. And I had a job working at this rental company, man. I was repoing furniture and, you know, doing all type of stuff, man. Just, you know, I had a son to take care of, so, you know, I was doing everything that I had to do as far as corporate America. And I was at home one day, and my girlfriend, she came in the house, and she handed me a business card. And the business card was from a barber shop. And I had always cut my own hair, but I just wasn't cutting anyone else's hair after college. Okay, so from after college all the way through the pros to the time that she brought me the card, I was the only person that I was cutting. So she said, well, this is a barbershop. They claim they're the best barbershop in Atlanta. You need to give them a call. So I called them up, and I think that was on a Wednesday, and they told me to come in on a Thursday, give it a shot. I went in there with what I had was some pretty ridiculous equipment, but you know, it was all I had. You know, that's all I knew at that time. And I went in there, and I think my first day I made a couple $100, and then I went back to the job that I had, and I quit the next day. And I said, you know what, this is for me. I'm gonna cut hair. This is it.
Right.
And I was, you know, and I've been cutting hair ever since 1997.
1997 was the start of your career. Okay.
That was the start.
What kind of direction did you think you wanted to go with your second chance? Well, not second chance, but your second coming with the Clippers. Did you have any kind of direction, or you just wanted to cut at that point?
Well, at that point, I wanted to cut. I enjoyed it. You know, like I said, I had been cutting since I was 13, but the professional career didn't start in 97. So one thing I did know is that I wanted to be legit in however I needed to be, which is the same mind frame I had in college. I wanted to be number one, and I was number one. So I said, if I'm going to be somebody, in my opinion, that can really make a difference and do some great things in this industry, I need to get a license. And so I talked to a few people at the shop, and we talked about the apprenticeship opportunities and school opportunities, start learning more and more and more. But it's pretty much, it was my self-motivation to want to be somebody who could do something and have a shop or maybe a school, and I knew I couldn't do it without a license. So it was pretty much my own self-motivation to get my license.
Mm-hmm. Well, how did you get into the instructional DVDs and your YouTube success? How did all that transpire?
Well, I had a shop in 1993. I opened a barber shop, and in 1997, I was speaking with a friend of mine, and he told me, he said, man, you know, if you're going to be a business owner, if you're going to own a business, you don't truly have a business until you have a website. And I thought about, okay, so he told me where I could, you know, start up a website. So I started the website, not thinking anything about it at all. This is in September 2007. So one day I started getting online, started checking out YouTube, because at this point I barely knew how to do anything beyond checking an email. I mean, I had just started looking at YouTube. I knew nothing. So I started looking on YouTube, and quite naturally, being a barber, what we look at haircuts. So I started looking at haircuts, and I said, man, you know, I feel like my haircuts are just as good as these, if not better. So that led me into trying to find out how to upload my videos to YouTube. And like one thing led to another. I said, okay, well, I found out I have to buy a camera. Once I bought the camera, I had to find out how to upload them, started learning how to use different softwares and all these types of things. And eventually I had it figured out. And I uploaded my videos to YouTube. And it was like madness. People started leaving me comments. People started calling me like, man, do you have DVDs? Can you show me how to cut like this, like that? So that led me into finding out how to create a DVD.
Mm-hmm.
And so that led me to find out what type of camera I had to buy, what type of software I had to buy to make copies of the DVDs, and what type of DVD burner. So, you know, the motivation came from the people.
Mm-hmm.
The people who wanted to learn from me was my motivation to start making the DVD. So the bottom line is, when I started the website, where I am today was not where I was planning, but because of my nature of wanting to help people, that's where the DVD started at.
Wow. So the road you took necessarily didn't lead you to exactly where you wanted to be. It got you somewhere even better, huh?
Man, you took the words right out of my mouth, man, and I'm happier today than I've ever been in my life, man, and I enjoy every second of it.
Well, that's excellent. We are definitely glad that you are part of the industry. Actually, Mike Sales told me about you. Mike Sales was on the show earlier this year, and he spoke about you and your YouTube success. Can you talk a little bit about, I guess, the million hits that you received and what YouTube has done for you in return?
Yeah, it's been a crazy ride, man. I've uploaded hundreds of videos, several different pages on YouTube, and I didn't even really realize it up until Mike Sales had said something to me about it. He said, well, man, I noticed you got over 250,000 views on YouTube. And I said, well, Mike, that's just one video, which prompted me to start really looking into it a little bit more detail. I said, man, I got over 1 million views on YouTube, and that's just one account that I had over 1 million views. I have several accounts with YouTube, but because of that, YouTube offered me what you call a partnership program, which enables me to earn revenue every time somebody watches my videos. So it's been a very healthy situation to be in. I'll say that.
That's good. That's excellent. I've never heard of anything like that, and I'm definitely glad that you are part of the industry to be the first to do something like that. I'm going to open it up to my co-hosts here. I believe they have some questions for you. Dark Kent, you have a question for Alex Campbell today.
Yes, sir. Mr. Campbell, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Well, I mean, you are considered the YouTube guru, if you will. Has the success of YouTube inspired you in any way to come up with ways to promote the barber industry to the mainstream American public, or even the global public for that matter?
Absolutely. Barbering is just one niche within the whole beauty industry, and everybody in the world is involved in the beauty industry, whether you cut your own hair, whether you shave, you wear makeup, it doesn't matter. So because I made the barbering niche become so successful online, and, it made me say, man, you know what else can I do to start helping others who want to learn how to do this? So it made me go from talking about hair cutting to start talking about instructionals and tutorials and schools and barber licenses and things like that. So it started with the haircuts, but YouTube definitely motivated me to start tapping into different niches within the beauty industry.
Excellent, excellent. Doc, you have a question for Alex?
Yes, sir. This is Sports Dr. Spot. My question for you, where can I see, or what do I have to type in to see some of your hits on YouTube, or to see some of your haircuts on YouTube?
If you go to YouTube and type in Alex Campbell, you'll find me on YouTube.
Okay. Okay.
That's all we need to type in is Alex Campbell?
That's it.
Okay. Alex Campbell.
You can type in Alex Campbell. You can type in Barber Alex Campbell, Alex Campbell the Barber, Atlanta's Best Barber. I mean, any types of variations with my name and barbering, I'll come up on YouTube.
Okay. Well, that's excellent. You are the definite YouTube guru. I don't know if you heard previously, Alex, about what we were discussing with the NCAA and all the conference realignments and our question of the day. I wanted to pose that question to you. Should college players be compensated for their time and the money that they earn for the institutions that they play for? Should college players get paid?
In my opinion, I think they do. Speaking from and my experience of being in college, I think about the days and the struggles and all the things that I went through. And there, in my opinion, are differences between black institutions and the larger institutions. And we didn't get a lot of the privileges at Morris Brown that an athlete maybe at the Florida Gators may get, meaning Pell Grants and things like that. But when you start talking about the time, the effort, the work ethic, and all those things that people put effort in, to go out one day and play a game in front of 80,000 people, that probably that one game could gross, who knows, in the millions. And these kids, after the game, just go back to the dorm, and that's it. They reap none of the benefits absolutely whatsoever. And I heard a guy one day say, why shouldn't a student athlete get paid? People don't come to a stadium and fill it up to watch people take an exam. They come to watch people play football.
Right.
So, in my opinion, I think they should get compensated.
Well, let me ask you this, since you have been on that stage before, why haven't collegiate players been paid? I understand, of course, the NCAA rules that they have in order, but do you have any underlying reason why they haven't been paid as of yet?
Let me see. Let me think. Why they haven't?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because, in my opinion, these guys, when we get to college, we're young. We're 18, 19 years old. We're living on campus for free. We have no bills whatsoever. We don't have any supervision. And possibly if they start giving them money, that will probably make it a little bit harder to monitor these guys. You got money in your pockets, you're away from home, you're young, you're a star athlete, and, you never know, man. It could probably make it a little bit harder to monitor these guys, but that's the only thing I could really think of, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I think you might be right on that one, because we see sometimes what kind of condition the pro athlete is in and goes through the situations with the money being at a young age. So that's a good point. Good point. We just hope that at some point the collegiate level will understand that these athletes do need some help at some point. And the jerseys and all the memorabilia and the different things, we're not even talking about the ticket sales. We're talking about the merchandise on one end, grosses millions of dollars, if not billions, for the institution. So I think there has to be some kind of compensation. If not to the player, give it to the families. Give it to the families of that player to help their situation out a little bit better at home. That's my opinion. Kent, you have something?
Yeah, well, since the NCAA has all these rules, I got a little bit of a different approach to how these players could be compensated. Since they feel that maybe they are not ready as responsible adults to handle a large amount of money, they could set up some sort of almost like a post-college fund for them, put the money aside for them, and then they will have access to it after college to to use at their disposal. You take for instance a great collegiate player who has done minimal in the NFL and now has really nothing to rely on or fall back on to help reestablish him on his feet. We'll take Chris Winkie for example, an ex-Heisman winner who didn't fare so well in the NFL. I definitely think that he could use that money afterwards, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I do. Good point. I think
yeah,
that's
so I definitely think that would be a good way to compensate, so that way that the money is not actually in their hands while they're at the university, they'll be able to receive it after.
Right. Well, Alex, one more thing. In February of 2009, you auditioned for America's Got Talent TV show.
Right.
What did you do and how was the experience?
It was an awesome experience, man. Actually, that opportunity is a result of the website. They obviously were searching online for the better talent in different niches and different markets, and they came across my site. They gave me a call, and they explained to me who they were. At the time, I didn't really know exactly who they were, and neither did I know how big that opportunity was that I was getting ready to go into. But after I thought about it, and I was like, man, this is huge. So, they said, think about it, give us a call back. It didn't take long to think about it. I mean, heck, the opportunity for a barber to be on television with NBC, it really was nothing to think about. So when I called them back, I asked them, I said, well, what is it that you want me to do? And they said, well, whatever, you think you could do in your industry, like a fast haircut or something. And it was ironic. I had already been researching the world's fastest haircut, which is 55 seconds. So I said, well, you know what? let me break the world record on your TV show. And they thought it was an awesome idea. And they said, okay, we'll come down. We're going to be in Atlanta. Come down to the audition. So I took my my son and 2 other clients with me to the audition. Went down and performed. Did a haircut in like 1 minute and 28 seconds. And they loved it, you know. And, man, from there, they called me back about a couple of months later and flew me down to Miami, down to South Beach, and went down there. And that was my experience, the kind of what you would say Hollywood experience of, you know, actually a big show, big set and stuff like that. And but the downside is that's how I found out what props were. Props is when people set up the stage for whatever they go out and do for their performance. And they pay for the show up to a certain time. And if the props run too long, that means everybody doesn't get to perform on the show. So that's what happened to me. Me and about 8 other competitors didn't get a chance to get on stage and perform because the people who went prior to us, the props ran over into the time that they paid for, which was up to 10 o'clock. So everybody who didn't get to perform up to 10, you know, pretty much you just got a free opportunity to be in South Beach and just, you know, have a good time. And I'm telling you, man, it was a heck of an experience, man. You know, they said you're the first barber who's ever been auditioning on this show, ever.
Wow.
And they were like, it was something. But it also led me to start thinking about different ways to still approach that opportunity. But it was a great one.
Well, you definitely made history with that opportunity. Let the people know exactly how to log on to your website.
Yeah, my website is www.alexccampbell.com. That's AlexCcampbell.com.
Okay. And you said they can just type in your name on YouTube and all your information and projects will come up there on YouTube, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, Alex Campbell, we thank you so much from Barber Sports Talk for joining us today and blessing us with your presence. And you take care, sir.
Okay, Al, I really appreciate you guys having me on the show, man. I hope to talk to you soon.
You sure will. Thank you so much.
All right.
Alex Campbell, we're going to open up the line, fellas. We got a few callers on the line. We're going to find out about our question of the day. Should collegiate players be paid while they're in college?
Man.
Is this Chavez?
Man, you know it's Chavez, the Barber's on. What's going on, good brothers?
What's going on? You all right, Chavez?
What's up with you? Hey, man, I'm good, man.
Man,
What's up, good brothers? Hey, man.
Hey, Chavez, man, we gonna start counting you in as a regular on Fridays. You can be our 4th man.
Hey, when he hit me up, man, and I got the opportunity, you know, the time to get on, you know, hey, I'm going to get on and show the love against the grain. It got to, man, you know.
No doubt,
hey,
no doubt.
But y'all, this is the Barber Spark, the sports talk show, right? I got some exclusive Barber Zone sports stuff right here for you. Man, if y'all don't know, by now, I'm a golf fan, a golf enthusiast. I bring home trophies like Tiger Woods. If you don't believe me, you can see my mantle. Dude, I had the opportunity through this Barber game to spend Sunday at the Memorial Tournament here in Dublin, Ohio, at the house on the 18th hole.
Wow.
If y'all don't know what that is, if y'all ever watch the Memorial and y'all see him come up to the 18th green, the house off to the right, dude, the Barber game had me in that house all day kicking it. I was walking around the golf tournament just like wherever I wanted to be at any time. And then if I said, oh, man, I need another drink, I walked right back into this $1 million house, million and some change. The whole area is just exclusive. The dude had five bathrooms in his lower level that opened up to the 18th hole.
Are you cutting hair that good that gives you the opportunity to be on the 18th hole?
Hey, no, I network that good. Actually, I'm the vice president of the Ohio Barber Association.
Okay.
So the president of the Barber Association, his buddy, owns the house on the 18th hole. It's one of his customers. So,
wow.
he knows that I'm a golf fan. Hey, Chavez, would you like to come to the, to the house on the 18th hole? Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Right.
Are you kidding me? That's like asking a Laker fan, do you want to come and sit next to Phil Jackson?
Right.
Hey man, no, okay, I'm not gonna say Phil Jackson, but do you want to come and sit up under the basket at the Lakers game on the floor?
Ah, wow.
Imagine that. For me being a golf, dude, this is from exclusive joints. But check out, this is how when you deal with good people, how your circles and everything go. All right,
mm-hmm.
one of my clients, man, he he a photographer. He do his thing. Some people take pictures. Some people are real photographers and do their thing. This brother that went to school doing his thing, he been networking with the right people. He go to the spot that other people don't go to take pictures. So, I'm out there. I'm going out to Midfield. I'm throwing it on Facebook and stuff. He hit me back like, dude, I'm going to be out there too. He come in and get a cut. I let him know, dude, I'm going out there. Oh, you ain't going. You know how you mess with people. You ain't going. All right, I get to I'm sitting at the green on the 17th hole, right behind the rope. Who do I see but my man walking with the CBS Sports camera people? You know what I mean? This a brother, this a young brother walking with his cameras with the big ginormous lens on it, walking with the CBS camera people, doing his thing.
Doing this thing.
So, doing this thing, man, like, they going to take shots, I'm going to take shots too.
Right.
So this dude, and actually, he just walked in here, man, with some of the greatest pictures I've ever seen. He got from a tiger that's just stupid amazing. Some of Ricky Fowler, the little dude. If y'all know who Ricky Fowler is, he's a new young dude that's taking the golf world by storm, wearing all the bright colors. He's sponsored by Puma. He got all the fresh Puma gear on. Mm-hmm. This dude is on here with some incredible, just sports stuff. I'm like, man, this is crazy. And then, I'm on y'all show at the same time. So, and also,
right.
This how you move and shake. I got one of the flags from the Mirfield, the flag that's on the green. Got one of those. Walking on Wednesday, you get to walk with the players. I get an autograph from the winner of the Memorial Tournament on Wednesday. He's just walking by, I'm walking with some white people, a little kid go, hey, Justin, will you sign my flag? Baby, I got one too. I'm not going to be no groupie dude because I can play like you. I just ain't got no sponsor,
All right.
So I'm just like, hey, Justin, hit him up, big guy, and he signed it. Dude, now I have a memorial flag autographed by the winner. My dilemma is, do I keep it as barbershop memorabilia, or do I throw it on eBay and get change for it?
No, you can't do that. You can't do that. That would be a travesty. That's definitely part of the barbershop memorabilia, man.
Yeah, hey, but that's part of the whole story, man. But this dude has got some of the greatest pictures, man. But I ain't mean to jump y'all show off like that, but this is just some great sports stuff. So I'm like, why you standing here putting the pictures up? How much to get me some copies of them?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, definitely let us know where we can see those pictures, Chavez. We thank you for calling again.
Hey, but I know y'all talking about the shit they get paid. My thing is like this. You are getting paid, but most of them just don't take a full advantage of it. You are getting paid when you get that free college education. That's going to last you your whole life. That basketball you playing, and we done seen many people, you could get out there, Blake Griffin, and right in preseason, get hurt, Blake Griffin, and never really get to play the whole season.
Right.
But if you stayed in school your whole 4 years and you get that degree, you get that business education, you get that communication degree, when you blow your knee out, you can now go work for ESPN. You can now go and get your own YouTube station broadcasting sports. That education that you get is invaluable. I know you got to live while you're in college. I was in college too, played baseball, so I got hurt. So you got to live. I mean, true enough, they should have some type of stipend to, to help them along with their, them little extra expenses. You are an athlete, they are making look. You should get a little something more than the average student. But that education that you're getting for free, that you don't take advantage of because you want to jump to the NBA within 2 years, that's not the school's fault. They was going to give you a free and valuable education. Right. So, I know it's all about money, but in the end, when that money gone and you have no education, you have no way to get money. But if you have that education and that money run out, you have a way to redirect your life for the education you got, because 8 out of 10 people that get degrees, they don't work in the field that they got their degree in.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Chavez, I hate to stop you there, but we got to keep going. We thank you so much, brother, for giving us that knowledge and that story about your golf. Thank you so much, Chavez.
All right. Peace to y'all, man.
All right. Chavez Moment from Columbus, Ohio. We got to keep moving here. We run out of time, fellas. We had a couple things that we wanted to do. We wanted to give you, our listeners, a chance to hear our football preview. Football is coming up in August and September, but we're going to do 2 teams a show. And this week we're going to have the New Orleans Saints. And what's the other team that we're doing this week?
Indianapolis Colts.
The Indianapolis Colts. I'm sorry, that was the Super Bowl. How can I forget? Dark Kent, can you start us off with your football preview?
But of course, Indianapolis Colts this year, they're coming off of a Super Bowl loss against the New Orleans Saints, and are definitely looking to rebound this year. Definitely one of the keys for the Saints is with their first round draft pick, they took Jerry Hughes, defensive end from TCU, and this definitely is to help with the White Freeney, and I definitely think this rookie will make an impact and will see significant playing time playing along that defensive line, resting Dwight Freeney when he can. So Anthony Gonzalez, a very, very important receiver to the Colts passing game, is looking to go into camp healthy this year, so that receiving core is going to get an added weapon. So look out for big numbers for Peyton Manning and the receiving core again. So definitely the Colts are poised to make another Super Bowl run. Barring any freakish injuries, I don't see why that's not possible with Peyton Manning under center and directing that offense.
Okay. Doc, we got 1 minute left. Give us your, please, give us your preview quickly.
The Orleans Saints coming off a 13-3 regular season, and of course the Super Bowl, added Darren Sharper and first round draft pick, Mr. Patrick Robinson, to help fill up that defensive back depth. They drafted a lot of linemen, big linemen, mostly in the draft. Should pretty much do the same thing. They should be just as competitive as they were last year. Look for them to be a championship contender again this year.
Okay. Well, thank you for the preview, fellas. We're going to do 2 more teams next week, time permitting. We will get that in. But that's about all the time we have for this week. I'd like to thank my guests, Alex Campbell and Chavez Moment, for calling in. My co-hosts, Dark Kent Daniels, and Mr. Sports Dr. Spock himself, Mickey Coleman. I am your host, Mr. Fade 'em Up, thanking you for tuning in to Barber Sports Talk, only on Against the Grain Radio Network. Big shout out to Gene. Take heed. Don't let society place a limit on you. Do not leave this earth without giving your dreams an honest effort. If you can see the invisible, you can do the impossible. Your time and trust you hold to your faith is your most precious commodity. Remember, Don't just cut. Make a statement. Until next week, the shop is closed, fellas. Checkmate.